Okay, what I'm going to show you here is how to create an entity relationship diagram. The example I'm using is a library borrowing system, and what I've set up to start with is two tables, two entities, one called the customer entity, and in that one I have details about the customer. So there's a primary key, which is customer ID, I have their first name, their surname, their email. There'll obviously be other information in there, but I'm not showing it here. The second table I have, or the second entity I have, is a books table, which lists all the details of the books that the library has to borrow. Now, once again, there is a primary key, which is the underlined one, because that's how it's represented. I've just got a title and an author, and again, there's going to be other information in there, probably the subject, keywords, the stuff that is in the library. The notation I am using is Chen's notation, which is why you've got to have the underline under the primary key. Now, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to establish a relationship between these two. Now, we have got, for the way it's set up at the moment, we have got customers borrow many books. So we'll put that there and we'll set up this relationship. Then we have to think about our cardinality of this. So if we're looking here, so one customer can borrow many books. Okay, so we have got a many on this side. So let's add that in here. It's not great here for. We'll add that to many. Okay, so on this side we know we have got a many relationship. What about going the other way? If we have a book, many customers can borrow that book. So we've also got a many on this side as well. So effectively, we have got a many to many relationships because many customers can borrow many books and many books can be borrowed by many customers. So we have got a many to many relationship, and we need to resolve that. We can't leave in a ERD, in any relationship, in a database, we cannot have a many to many relationship. We need to make it to a one to many. Okay, so I'll get rid of this relationship because we're going to have to add another table. Okay, so we cannot link these two tables because we have our many to many relationship. So in order to do that, we need to come up with another table. Now, the logical thing to link these ones is a loan log. So when a customer borrows a book, when you take it out of the library, obviously it logs each time it comes out. As with any table, the first attribute we need to add is a primary key. So we'll call this the log ID. That's our primary key. The next thing we need to think about a table is what goes in when we loan a book. So if you think when you borrow a book, you need to record the customer name, you need to record the book name. Given we've got these tables, we don't need to record everything there. We just need to record the primary key. If we bring across the customer ID, that there gives information to all the rest of the information. So we'll add the next attribute, and we're going to put in the customer primary key, customer ID, sorry. Now, this is what's referred to as a foreign key because it is a primary key in another table. So therefore, we're going to have this link between these two. The next one we're going to have is a book ID. And again, this is also going to be a foreign key ID. And in accordance with the notation, we put the FK afterwards. We're going to have other values in here as well, probably. So for every time a book is borrowed, you would probably record the date it was borrowed, probably the date it was due back, the length of loan. There'll probably be that information. I'm just going to put the date borrowed there. That will do for our table now. Okay, the next thing we need to look at is we need to finish this off by looking at these relationships. What we need to think when we're setting up this relationship is we need to establish what this cardinality is between our tables. So what we need to ask is, what is the maximum number of loans a customer can have? So one customer can have multiple loans because he can borrow the book many times from the library. So we're going to have our M there. We also need to ask the other way. What is the maximum number of customers a loan can have? Every loan only has one customer associated with it. Each loan cannot have more than one customer because they're all unique loans. So therefore that needs to be ours. That needs to be our one on that side. Okay, we ask the same questions between the books and the loans. So what is the maximum number of books a loan can have? So each loan will only have one book against it. So every loan record will only have one book listed. However, what's the maximum number of loans a book can have? A book can be loaned multiple times. Therefore, that one is going to be my M. And there we have our ERD diagram where we've shown our cardinality. So we've got one customer can borrow many loans. One book can be loaned many times.